thank you so much for this opportunity, for giving this opportunity to HuffPost to interview you ahead of the election of the public advocate in New York in early 2019. Would you please be so kind to explain to us and to Greeks as well, who are not aware of the whole story, what is the role and the importance of the public advocate in the city of New York?
Thank you so much for having me. It is such an honor to be able to speak with my community and my homeland, and I'm excited to see what my family and my friends in Greece and here in the States who watch you guys have to say about our campaign, because it is very important. The public advocate's office is very unique to New York. It doesn't exist anywhere else in the country in this capacity, and most people don't even know what it is in New York. But it is second to the mayor. And this is, of course, the largest city in the country, and Mayor de Blasio was once the public advocate. So many people in New York who do know about the public advocate see it as, next to the mayor. But it's actually someone who's supposed to be in opposition to the mayor. It is the office that is the check and balance on the mayor, the city council, all city agencies, and it's supposed to represent the people's interests. The public advocate is there to push the agenda towards the working people of New York, towards marginalized communities so that they're represented, and really to hold everybody accountable in government. You can hold them accountable by filing lawsuits on the behalf of the people of New York, and you can, of course, introduce legislation in the city council. So there's quite a bit of power in the public advocate's office, and I'm hoping to find creative ways of using the office that would represent people more than ever, because our city has been taken over by massive developers and corporations. I mean, Donald Trump got his start in real estate here in the mid-'70s. He became the architect of inequality in New York, and a lot of people around the world don't understand that he was really the architect of why the inequality exists in the city. We have the highest income inequality in the country, in a city that has Wall Street and more billionaires than anywhere else in the country.
Let's take an example. Let's say I'm a citizen of New York, and I want to send a strong message to the mayor of my city to complain about something strongly, to say that there's an important problem about human rights, for instance. Mm-hmm. Can I get to the advocate, to the public advocate, and discuss it with him? How does it work?
Yeah, I mean, this is actually something I've learned in the last month of this campaign, going around and talking to people about what the office of public advocate represents to people. And what I've heard from several different New Yorkers is that they'll have a problem with a rent problem in which they have been fighting with the real estate company that owns their building, and they won't fix certain things, and the reason why they're not fixing it is it's very clear that they want to drive people out of their apartments so that they can raise the rent. So they've been filing complaints, or they call the public advocate's office, and somewhere along the way it just stalls. It's too bureaucratic. I mean, you know about bureaucracy.
Yep.
It's too bureaucratic, and information is not flowing properly. But I would call for a public advocate in every neighborhood, so that if something happens on your block, somebody in your neighborhood understands the issues, and they're independent of the city council, because the city council is still affected by politics. They're still affected by the donors in New York. They're still affected by the real estate developers who are really driving up the cost here to live in that neighborhood. We have to come up with innovative solutions so that New Yorkers feel like when they have a problem, they actually have someone to go to that's going to solve their problem, or at least try to.
All that's happening at a period when everybody's talking about President Trump's attitude, President Trump's style, and we all have the feeling it's not a simple thing to go in the United States right now and fight for your right. It's not simple for a citizen to approach the administration and make any kind of requests. Is it wrong, or is it a realistic approach, a realistic feeling that we have?
Well, I think a couple of things. We are a very, very large geographic country and very diverse in our perspectives. If you go just 45 minutes to the east of me in Long Island, you will find Trump supporters. Where I live, it's very hard to find a Trump supporter. I think the difference here in New York is that we have a very progressive voting population and a very progressive city council, or supposedly progressive, and supposedly the most progressive mayor ever. So I think that New York State will have a lot more power in pushing back against the Trump administration now that we are a truly democratic state. Furthermore, with this public election, this public advocates election, there's quite a bit of power that New Yorkers can have in pushing back against what Trump is doing. We do have the freedom in our city to protest and to organize, and that's a lot of my background is doing protests and activism and community organizing, along with the investigative reporting I've done in the last 10 years in New York. And that's very critical, because Donald Trump, if you see what he's doing at the federal level, he is trying to cut away all checks and balances, all oversight. He's kicking journalists out of the press room. He's attacking journalists. That's our fundamental rights. That is what we represent, supposedly, to the rest of the world and for ourselves.